Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are returning to Frieren. It is the 5th Frieren Friday, so still that alliteration going on, good fun. And today we are going to be checking that episode out. I hope that you guys are having a great day. I'm really excited to check this out. I know that now we are kind of past what people have been calling the prologue for the series, where we are now past week 1 essentially of Frieren episode drops. When Frieren initially started airing, it dropped 4 episodes in one, so essentially we're now on to week 2 content of Frieren, and this will be the 5th week that we're doing it. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what we get this time round. I know that we're now going on this big journey. I'm excited to see where we go with this. I know that there's some characters we still have to meet. I know that the red-haired guy from the opening hasn't shown up yet. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of all I'm kind of waiting for at this point. I really just cannot wait to check this out. It's been an absolute blast so far. Frieren Fridays are definitely one of the highlights of my week every single week, and I really look forward to them, so I hope you guys enjoy too. But yeah, let's just dive right into this. Episode 5, Frieren. Let's go. Here we go. Okay.
Frieren.
Frieren.
俺オールを探してヒンメルと話すんだ。
Damn right, Eisen. You tell him.
大陸の遥か北の果て。
Oh, the...
この世界の人々が天国と呼ぶ場所。魂の眠る地、オレオールにたどり着いた。
長い旅路になる。
Such a huge task.
俺たちは10年。
10 years and Fern's like... So is that 10 years there and 10 years back, or 5 years there, 5 years back, or like 10 years and then the journey back's pretty quick?
たった10年の冒険だよ。
A mere 10-year adventure.
100分の1か。
旅を続け
Oh,
る
he remembered what she said here. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, the way she just like sucks the air out of moments when time is brought up.
そんなことも言って
I might have said something like that.
その100分の1がお前を変えた。
Oh. Oh, Tam is already like getting me, and it's only like 2 episodes in, or 2 minutes in.
私の人生では2分の1ですから。
Half my life. Really?
これからもっと多くなるよ。
It's gonna be more than that. How old is Fern now then? Like, is Fern like 35, 40? Like, I don't think so. Or does she mean half the time she has been alive? I think that's what she maybe meant. Okay. I just completely misunderstood that. All right. Phantoms of the Dead. Oh, we're staying on that
いいですか、フェル。
title
これか
episodes.
らはフリーレンの言う
Death-related?
ことをよく聞いていい子にしているんですよ。
She is a good girl.
Samurai.
You don't need to tell her that. Or else?
さもないと。
死んだ後に化けて
Damn, what a corrupt priest, am I right?
ハイター様、私が悪い子になれば
Oh,
化けて出てきてくれるんですか？
such a
そ
sweet
れが
and
賢くなりましたね。
I guess you could call naive way of looking at that kind of statement.
撤回しましょう。
Aw,
あなたがいい子でいたら
so
少しくら
innocent.
いなら化けて出てあげてもいいかもしれませ
Aw,
ん。
the reversal of that kind of phrasing in a moment like that was actually very touching. And I've just realized Fern will be more than happy to complete this journey to be able to see Hyder again. That's what's pushing her forward. 28 years after the death of Himmel the hero in the Ville region located in the Central Lands. The Ville? I feel like that's probably how it's pronounced with the German.
もう何人も行方不明になっているからね。
Oh shit.
魔物でも出たの？幽霊どもに連れ去られたって話さ。実際に見た連中もいる。その幽霊の見た目ってわかる？そこまではね。気になるなら直接聞いてみたらどうだい？
Oh, we're going to ask the villagers? Oh, the people who have seen them. Okay. I was going to say it'd be really interesting if it's all just kids, but it did show then an
話をま
adult.
とめると、
死んだ身内や知り合いの幽霊が目撃されていて、
okay.
どれも生前の姿のまま。
And that would lure people for sure.
アンデッドは魔法で操られた死体の総称だからね。ゾンビとかスケルトンとか。
Damn, those exist.
でも
Okay,
今
in
回
this
は
series.
生前の姿のままだった。これは
Oh,
全く
Frieren,
別の
don't be
系統
tempted
の
by
ものの仕
Hider.
業だね。
心当たりがありそうですね。フリーレン様、村の人たち困っていました。
They do need help, and we're gonna help them. You sound like him.
私
Well,
は
let's
フリーレン
go.
様とは違っていい子なので。
She is a good girl.
まあフェルンがいいならいいか。
Aw. I love that it's not a one-sided, we do what I want sort of relationship that the two have. And I wonder if that's because of the way Frieren has changed through time, or maybe this is also part of her like, well, it makes no difference to me. Time is just always passing.
村人が消えた場所だね。
So this is kind of like what Fern wants to spend her time doing, the little time she has.
幻影魔法です。
Illusion. I love that she's always
獲物
learning.
を誘い込む魔物がいると魔法生態学の本に書かれていました。
アインザーム。
Einsam.
狡猾で貪欲で人しか捕食しない変色家。死者の幻影を見せて人を誘い込む。
That's
その人にとって
crazy.
大切だった人の幻を見せるんだよ。でも
Yeah,
アイ
that's a
ンザー
tricky
ム
one.
が使う幻影は魔法使いにとっては脅威じゃない。
死者の幻影を撃てばいいのですね。
撃てる？
当然です。偽物だと分かっているのですから。
私は命乞いをする先生の幻影を撃ったよ。
That's crazy.
まあ先生の命乞いは聞き慣れていたからそこまで罪悪感とかはなかったけどね。
What?
だとしても気分のいいものじゃない。
命乞いを聞き慣れるってどういう？
Yeah, that's what I want to know, Fern. What the hell? That's a statement. Flame did not strike me as that type, but yeah, we'll learn more as we go on. Oh shit, that's cool.
フェルン
It's
出
Hider.
た。これが死者の幻影。
あなたがいい子でいたから
Oh no! You literally said the one thing.
あなたは昔から魔法
That's cruel. That is cruel. Yeah, you said it, Fern. That is cruel. They're just being mean at this
ヒンメル
point.
が出てくるんだ。
Oh no. Oh, someone is now more important to you. That does mean you changed. That 1/100th of your life changed you in crazy ways.
撃て
Ah. That's what Himmel would say. Holy shit. Did it have to be that powerful? You just like... Oh god, okay. Did they just like destroy the whole landscape with that? That's kind of crazy. Is it?
フリーレン様。
What if there's a third?
あ
A
れはハイ
baby?
ター様の幻影でした。
次は本物に会いに行こう。
Aww.
私たちはオレオールを目指してい
Yeah,
るんだ
you'll get to see him for real. The little smile. 28 years after the death of Himmel Hero in Riegel Canyon, located in the Central Lands.
あれが竜。
Or is it Riegel?
初めて
Holy shit, a dragon! Let's go!
巣を見て
A red dragon. Ooh,
魔導書がある
that's
で
a
しょ。
tome. Okay, they call them grimoires. I've been calling them tomes. Oh dear.
相変わらず好きですね。
竜は魔力のこもったものを栄装の材料にするからね。公共竜。
A
こ
solar
いつは冒
dragon.
険者を何人も食っている。どちらにせよ仕留めておいた方がいいでしょう。
Probably, sure. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Oh shit, it did nothing. Not even a scratch.
フリーレン様、あまり手応えが。
やっぱり竜は硬いね。
They really are tough.
逃げるよ。
The JoJo family technique. Holy shit! What? That looked crazy. Oh my god. Yo, they've pissed off the dragon. Frieren hiding.
死ぬかと思いました。
Yeah, that's terrifying.
さすがにこれ繰り返せばいつかは倒せるでしょ。
If we repeat it over and over again, eventually it'll win. For it's like, you're doing this yourself.
だよね。竜と追いかけっこなんて魔法使いのやり方じゃない。素直に仲間にするか。
Oh shit! We're taking on a companion. Let's go.
ああ、探しているんだろう。リーゲル峡谷沿いにある
Stark in a village near
スタルクという
Riegel
戦士が
Canyon.
俺の
Stark.
弟子なんだ。
Ah, that's cool.
いい選手なの？
Yes, he's good. He's an apprentice of Einsam. Einsam the warrior. Of course he's good. What kind of question was that, Frieren? You know he's good.
フリーレン様、あの魔導書にはどのような魔法が
Can you
記さ
tell
れ
by
ているので
looking
すか？
at it? Is that something she could
服
tell?
が透けて見える魔法。
What?
フリーレン様は本当に変な魔法
A
ばかり
spell that
集め
lets
てい
you
ますね。
see through
趣味
clothes.
だからね。
Yeah, you could probably see if
服
there's
と
a
認識
weapon.
する範囲によって
Yep.
は隠し持っている武器とか
旅の方
がわかる。
少々よろしいですか？シュタルク様がお会いしたいと。
Ah, Stark is not wasting any time
3
here.
年ほど前、あの竜が村を襲いました。
Ah, there he is. The red-haired boy. I knew you had to show up soon. Let's go.
竜を前にしても一歩も引かず、長い睨み合いの末に竜は去って行きました。それ以来、あの方がここにいてくれてい
The
る
dragon is not attacked. Ah. So, is the dragon scared of him, or is it just like real recognizes real?
竜は倒せそうですね。
Bacha.
お前らが竜に手を出していた連中か。あまり刺激されると困るんだ。村に危険が及ぶ。この額の傷も暗黒
Oh
竜と戦った時
shit, a
そんな
shadow
大層な
dragon.
傷じゃないでしょ。
お前ら師匠の差し金か。何者だ。
魔法使いフリーレン。
You've heard a lot about Frieren,
ばあちゃ
right?
ん、外してくれ。
Granny.
大丈夫。俺の師匠の知り合いだ。
She was like standing by in case.
怒っていただろ。黙って出てきちまったからな。
シュタルク、なんで竜を倒さないでいるの？
先にそっちの要件を教えてくれないか。
前衛として私たちの仲間になってほしい。まずは公共竜の討伐を手伝ってもらいたいかな。巣にある魔導書が欲しいからね。
なぜ？
ただの趣味。特に理由はないよ。
It's just something I enjoy
相手は
doing.
公共竜だぞ。理由もなく戦う相手じゃねえだろ。
Maybe that's not Gojo. Oh, that's so cool. A little rock
そう
boy.
だね。私の集めた魔法を褒めてくれたバカがいた。
And it meant a lot.
くだらねえな。
でしょ？
That is
仲
kind
間
of
になるのは別
ridiculous.
に構わないぜ。師匠が連れてけって言ったんだろ。ただ、公共竜だけは絶対に倒しても。フリーレン、お前なら倒せるんだな。
30秒足止めしてもらえれば確実。
30 seconds. Oh
なる
shit.
ほど。
That's
30秒か。
that's crazy. You gotta charge up a spell for 30
それ、
seconds?
俺がやらないと
Do
ダ
I
メかな。
really have to do
何を
that?
言っているのですか、この人は。
やっぱりそういうことか。シュタルク、魔物との戦闘経験は？
ゼロだよ。
Ah.
助けてくれよ、フリーレン。
Oh no.
俺だって最初は立ち向かったんだよ。でも怖くて一歩も動けなかったんだよ。あいつ家を野菜みたいに輪切りにしちまうんだぜ。
I didn't face him down.
相手じゃねえよ。
Oh dear.
竜の気まぐれで助かったと思ったらなぜかその後竜が村を襲わなくなって英雄扱い。
Stark, you're a fraud.
もう逃げられる雰囲気じゃないんだよ。
フリーレン様、 こいつはダメです。他を当たりましょう。
You're gonna get plenty of
こいつは竜と
experience
戦える。できるはずだ。
on this
そん
journey.
なやればできる子みたいに。
Did he cleave through this mountain?
よく考えろ。
Think
このままじゃい
carefully.
けないことくらい分かっているはずだ。
I thought that was just the shadow of his hair when I saw him at first. Interesting that it's a scar. Maybe because it's a scar from his shadow dragon, that's how it looks.
スタ
Who
レク
knows?
様慕われていますね。
まああいつは優しいやつみたいだからね。
This is true.
優しい、
Kind?
臆病なようにしか見えませんでしたが。
臆病なのは否定しないよ。
Yeah.
フェルンだって初めて魔物と戦った時
Oh, here we go.
分かったよ
Fern.
忘れる。
We'll just drop that right now.
小さかった頃は素直
Meek
に
and
可愛かったのに。
そういえばなぜ竜はこの村を襲わないのでしょうか。
さあね、単なる気まぐれか、あるいは
何の音でしょうか。
シュタルクでしょ。気になるなら見てくれば。
Yeah, is he literally just cleaving through the mountain? Boy, he's strong if that's the case. He just doesn't have, what's the word? Belief in himself, I guess?
あいつは昔故郷の村が魔族に襲われた時、一人だけ逃げ出した臆病者だ。俺と同じだ。
Oh,
だからあいつには
shit.
俺の全てを叩き込んだ。
Oh, shit, that changes so
今
much
の
about
あいつ
Einsam.
は誰かのために戦えるやつだ。
なるほど。いい戦士だ。
He literally is just cleaving through that mountain. Holy shit. Insanity. Oh, end of the episode. I'm excited for the next one already because I'm excited to see Stark get more confident in himself and overcome, you know, everything that he's been feeling, his mental barriers. And that was episode number 5 of Frieren. I loved the way this episode started with not exactly recap, but kind of going over those scenes again that we finished off the previous episode with. And, you know, it's kind of just kind of reinforcing the whole 10 years is nothing to Frieren. You know, like that's something that we have come to learn, know, and understand within the series so far, that these 10 years have essentially been nothing to Frieren, that she traveled. But Eisen gives a really, really nice twist on it. So Eisen brings up the fact that it's referencing something she said previously with the whole 1/100th of your life or whatever, and she's like, wow, I guess I did say something like that. But then Eisen puts like a cherry on top of that with, well, it's crazy that 1/100th of your life changed you. And that catches Frieren by surprise. She's like, whoa, you're actually right. Like it did. Like that changed so much. But at the same time, she doesn't immediately like, yeah, she realizes it and she is taken aback and startled, I guess. But I don't know if she immediately buys it or if she immediately not falls for it, but buys into it, I guess. You know, I don't really know how else to word that. And then I do think I misunderstood what Fern said early in the episode when she said something along the lines of, I've been traveling with you for half my life. I initially interpreted that as, I have spent what will be half my life. So when I die, this point from my birth is essentially half of my life. So I thought that that's what she meant, but I think what she actually meant was that half of the time she has been alive, she has spent traveling with Frieren. And Frieren smiles at that and says, well, I hope you're ready for a hell of a lot more than that. And it's really nice. It's a really touching scene. It's Frieren kind of realizing that she enjoys Fern's company, I guess, and she's ready to spend a lot more time with her. And then, of course, we get one of the most hauntingly beautiful scenes. Not haunting, but it's sad. It's very sad. It's very touching, and it's very just innocent. The scene with Heiter saying, if you're bad, I'm gonna come haunt you, you know, like it's something that you would say to a child, right? It's like, it just sounds like something you would say jokingly to a child. But Fern being so naive and so innocent and so pure, she turns that into So if I'm bad, you'll come visit me. And that catches Hyder by surprise. He's like, wow, I need to rethink what I just said. I need to reword that. And actually, I take it back. I will actually come visit you if you are a good girl. And from that moment on, Fern, I suppose, strives to be a good girl. She is striving to be the best as she possibly can because she truly valued that time with Hyder, and we know that because of what we see a little later on in the episode, you know, where this kind of plays into that, a scene where this plays into, and it's just the scene where it's showing this flashback with Hyder and Fern. It's so tragic, and yeah, it's very, very sad, and it really does make me upset to think about that. She was so innocent and pure that she turned something like a joke like that into something so meaningful. And then of course we get another little, I just love, I feel like I've said it before, but I just love that the death of Himmel the hero in Frieren's story is so important that anytime we're given location, geographical information, it says on the screen X amount of years after the death of Himmel the hero. So it's always, for the most part, 28 years after the death of Himmel the hero. And that's really important to us because it really just emphasizes just how important and how huge of a moment, that milestone, like world-changing moment for Frieren that was. And yeah, the fact that it's just always telling us this is really just compounding that fact. And I do really appreciate that. I think that it's a really nice, subtle detail. It's not something that is, well, it is in your face, literally, because it's saying 28 years after the death of Himmel the hero every single time. But I feel like it's not shoved in your face as like, hey, this is the reason why it's saying that. And so like, thinking about why it's saying that, it's really, I do appreciate it a lot. Learning about the mountain pass and how there have been people going missing, and Frieren's just like, it's whatever, that's none of our business. And she's kind of just like, yeah, you shouldn't really mess with this stuff's kind of like dangerous, and yeah, we'll just kind of like leave this as it is. So Frieren's not really saying that they're going to help in this instance, and it's Fern who steps up and says, hey, we need to help these villagers. To which Frieren retorts that, hey, you sound just like Himmel and the guys. So I think that that's very, very nice that we have now that figure in our party. We have that figure in our party being Fern, who wants to help others. And it's really important to think about it in the sense that Frieren doesn't mind, you know, helping them. She's like, yeah, sure, we can help them. That's no problem. Because this is just going to be like maybe a day for Frieren. When you think about it, a day is not a lot of time, but for Fern, she is willing to give up a day of her human life. And that's important to think about because Fern actually doesn't have the time Frieren has. Obviously, she's human, Frieren's an elf. And so the fact that Fern decides she wants to spend her time doing this, that's really important. And that's something that I hope we see more of going forward. And I love that Frieren is not someone who's like, I don't want to do it, therefore we're not doing it. She is willing to do things that Fern wants to do. If Fern wants to spend her time doing this, Frieren is willing. And so they go do it. They say, you know what? Okay, we'll go do it. That's fine. Totally cool. And so they go off to do it, and Frieren teaches Fern a little bit about what this monster that they are going to be facing is. So Fern mentions that she was reading a book about magic and that she learned about these creatures that can conjure the dead. Well, not conjure the dead, because as Frieren puts it, for conjuring the dead or whatever, zombie skeletons, that's using magic to control the dead, whereas this is using memories of someone against them to conjure an image of someone that is dead, but making them appear to be alive. I can't remember the name of them already. It was like Ice something, because I remember thinking it looked like Eisen. And Fern herself even deduces that it's illusion magic that has been used. And I'm skimming through the episode and I see it's called the Einsam. I wonder what that translates to. Let me look that up actually. Wow, it translates to lonely? Holy shit, okay, so let's think about this. When we see the thing, obviously it kidnaps children, or not just children, it kidnaps people, but it is obviously alone in doing so. But then when we see it actually through Fern's perspective, when we actually get to see it, it's covering its face, it's got shackles on. So yeah, I wonder if there's some actual deeper layers to this monster, if there's something more to it, that I wonder if we'll learn more about these at some point down the line, because a name like Lonely and the way it has shackles on, it's actually kind of sad that it's conjuring others' memories to kind of lure them. And I don't know what it does with the people that it kidnaps or that it, captures, but I wonder if this is all because of its loneliness. So it's actually like a really, really sad kind of monster when you think about it in that sense. But then obviously Frieren's like, are you going to be able to shoot the phantom dead if it shows up? Because it's easy if you're a mage. And Fern's like, yep, no problem, easy peasy. And so when the time comes, Fern sees Hyder, as she was, I suppose expecting to see. Obviously it could have been her mother, father, someone like that who died in the war, but it was Hyder. So Hyder is obviously someone very, very, very important to her. Maybe the most important person to her, because he saved her life and he basically brought her back from the brink and allowed her to continue. He gave her what she would probably see as like a purpose or a reason to continue living, a meaning in life, I guess. And so she sees him and she's readying up the spell to blast him away, but then he says the words, I'm here to see you because you've been a good girl. And that stops Fern immediately in her tracks and she can't do anything. And Fern comments herself that is cruel, using one of her most cherished memories against her. And it is absolutely mean. That is so, so cruel to do something like that. And so instead of blasting the monster away, she just stands unable to do anything, and that's when Frieren sees Himmel. Before that there, actually, Frieren did mention that her master was always screaming, begging for her life, and that it's something she was used to. So I don't know what that's about. I feel like there's more to Flamme than we initially know. Like there's more to her than we know right now, and that's a huge lingering question I'm going to have. I have no idea what that means, and I'm excited to find out just what that means. And so instead of seeing her master again from the Einsam, she sees Himmel, and that is a huge indication yet again that she has changed over these years. Even Frieren herself makes a little comment and a smirk saying, I guess I really have changed. And yeah, it's just kind of like compounding the fact that we already know she's changed, and it's really just solidifying that. But then seeing how Frieren is able to take out Himmel, Fern is able then to take out the fake Hyder, the Einsam, and yeah, it's done in this really beautifully sad and also kind of tragic way. But then it ends in a positive note where Frieren says, you can see Hyder for real, because we are heading to Ariole, the land where you can actually see him for real. And that makes Fern smile, and she's like, yeah, you're right. And they leave, and there's no more sadness. And then we get kind of to like the main beef, the main meat of this episode, which is the dragon. And the dragon is guarding a tome that Frieren wants, of course, a grimoire. And this grimoire, as we come to know, contains a spell that allows you to see through clothing. What? Like, that just seems like such a menial small spell that is so unimportant, but it's really funny, and I know that will play a part later down the line. I know that it's probably going to be something that Frieren uses in the kind of situation, maybe episode 16, 17. I'm just throwing out a random number. There'll be someone shows up who is feigning, to be someone who has been hurt. I'm just theorizing, right? So someone is going to be pretending to be hurt, and Fern's going to be like, oh my god, we need to help them. Frieren is going to look through their clothes and see that they've got some sort of weapon ready to just attack, and Frieren will step into action and do what she needs to do in that situation. I'm fully expecting a moment like that because of these clothes and being able to see through the clothes. Obviously, we haven't even got the spell yet, so, you know, who's to say we even get it? Maybe the dragon burns it up, who knows? But we have to take out a solar dragon to get it, and Fern steps up and blasts the dragon with a spell. It seemingly just bounces off the dragon, and it doesn't even immediately wake up. It just slowly like opens its eyes and look around and see them. So then Frieren's like, all right, nothing else for it. We gotta use the JoJo family technique, and she sprints. And Fern is just left there stunned, like, what? What just happened? And the dragon gets up, and there's this really crazy shot where the dragon is right behind Fern, just like, rah! And Fern just shits herself and runs off finally. And yeah, Frieren's like, yeah, well, we're far enough away now. If we do that a few more times, we'll eventually take the dragon down. And Fern's like, no, I'm not doing that shit again. No way. That's it. No way. Not happening. So Frieren's like, okay, well, we're going to need someone who can take out a dragon. We're going to have to add a companion to our party. And that is when Frieren remembers something Eisen said about picking up a companion called Stark, who was Eisen's apprentice. And that is enough of a huge reason to take this person on, because Eisen's a badass. We have seen Eisen fight before, and Eisen is an absolute killer, and it's so fun watching Eisen just like do his thing. And I know we've only seen like a couple of really short moments where he's actually fighting so far, but it's so cool to see. And so learning that his apprentice is someone that we are potentially going to add to our party, that's very exciting. And so we head off to the village to find Stark to try to bring him in, have a new party member. And that's when we learn that Stark showed up one day as the dragon was wreaking havoc and stood in front of the dragon, blocking the rest of the townspeople and the town. And so eventually the dragon flew off. Stark didn't fight it. Stark didn't do anything. He just stared it down, and the dragon flew off. So we're like, holy shit, this guy's a badass. So in that moment, I was like, is that because the dragon was scared of him, or the dragon recognized the potential and power within Stark and it didn't want to fight, or like, what was that? But we don't actually really learn. And instead, you know, we then go on to find out that Stark has summoned Frieren and Fern essentially. And Stark's like, yeah, I got this scar on my forehead from fighting a shadow dragon. And now I'm wondering if that's even true, and I'll explain in a minute. Frieren's like, that scar is nothing. That looks like nothing. Stark's like, oh, okay. And so then, you know, when time goes on, and there's this conversation about like, we want you to join our party. We want you to fight the dragon. And the reason I want you to fight the dragon and defeat it is so that I can get a grimoire. And Stark's like, you're doing all this for a grimoire? That seems so unimportant. And then Frieren's like, okay, well, it's because someone complimented my spells. How about that? And then Stark's like, you're doing all this over a compliment? Yeah, to a normal person, that might not seem like a lot, but to Frieren, that is huge. No one ever complimented her for all her silly little spells. And it meant so much then when someone did. Like, that happens in real life, you know, like, people can go about their lives, you know, just normal, everything's okay, but one compliment, and that can change your whole day. That can make you so much happier. It can change your outlook. It can change everything about your day. It can really just put you in a better mood. And so Frieren getting all these compliments for her silly little spells really just changed the trajectory of her spell collecting, and it really just made it a fun hobby that she wanted to do for herself, but also because it was something that she was complimented on, and so she felt happy doing it. She felt fulfilled, I guess, I don't know, and so she wants to go and do this. And Stark's like, yeah, I'm still not buying it. And that little moment where Frieren remembers making a little stone creature and then making it dance was just pretty funny. I wonder if that's something we'll see ever down the line. And then Stark says he doesn't mind joining the party, but he needs the solar dragon taken care of first. He's not saying he will take care of it. He's saying he needs it taken care of. And Frieren's like, okay, well, give me 30 seconds and, you know, we're good. So then Stark's like, 30 seconds, huh? 30 seconds, no, I can't do it. I've never fought anything before. Don't make me do it. And Frieren's like, I figured. So it's just this really funny moment then where we get this flashback to when Stark actually stood up to the dragon. It's nothing like it was described to us before. This time it's described to us as he stood in front of it, not really knowing why, but I guess he's got the heart of a warrior, right? He's got a heart of someone who wants to protect others, and he stands in front of this dragon and he is sweating buckets, he's shitting himself, and he's pulling the craziest faces, but he stands his ground, and he doesn't even know why he stands his ground. He's too scared to even move a muscle, I think is what he says. And the dragon looks at him and starts clawing through some more buildings, and then it just flies off. And Stark says he thinks he just got lucky and the dragon just flew off on a whim that day. And yeah, that's kind of like where we leave off then. And Frieren's like, all right, well, you've got a day to decide if you want to join us, but I trust that, you know, you're strong. And she touches the mountain, and that's kind of when I was like, oh, did he like cleave through the mountain? And like, we learned that, yes, that is in fact what happened. And we get to see that everyone's thinks really highly of Stark. They think of him in such high regards. And then Frieren mentions, you know, how Fern was when she fought her first monster, and that's really funny that we don't actually get to see more or learn more. Then we learn also that Einsam and Stark are very similar in the sense that they both fled when monsters attacked their hometowns, and they were essentially branded cowards. And that's then when it shows Einsam praying in front of the two tombstones of, I think, his family. And it's like, holy shit, he fled and they died because of that. And so it really just makes me think, like, the reason that these two are warriors the way they are is that they don't want that to happen again. They don't want anyone else to go through that. They have felt the most awful suffering, that they fled and they were branded cowards, and these awful things happen because of that. And so they want to be strong enough to fight. They want to be standing on the front lines, able to fight. And so that's why Einsam, I think, takes on Stark, because he sees himself in Stark. And Stark is very powerful because we see him cleaving through a whole ass mountain. And yeah, that's basically then how the episode ends. And it was a really, really great one. This is definitely a very great episode. I really love this one a lot. And I'm very excited to see where we go next. I hope that we get to see Stark fight. I hope that we get to see Stark overcome those feelings of doubt and self-doubt, I guess, and not being able to do what he can. And yeah, I hope that over the course of this journey we get to see him grow as a character and get to see him grow into his role, and I'm very excited for that. But yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for me for today for this episode. I really enjoyed this one. I had a blast with it. It was an absolute joy of an episode. There was so much jam-packed into this, so much fun jam-packed into this. And yeah, Stark, another great addition to the cast, and I'm excited to see more. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. I hope that you're having a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you on the next one in the next Frieren Friday. And yeah, take care.